Bruno is a 20-year-old college student who suffers from severe depression, anxiety, intrusive thoughts, self-hate, insecurity, lack of sleep, unhealthy eating habits, sitting in front of his computer on a chair for hours and hours, playing violent video games between 12 to 16 hours a day. He's neglecting his schoolwork and job, and he's shutting himself off his family and people surrounding him. According to the World Health Organization, all these symptoms indicate that he is suffering from a video game disorder or video games addiction. Now, Bruno's video gaming addiction is not simply a result of choices or behavior he made throughout his life, but rather it is influenced by a complex interplay of personal, interpersonal, and societal factors. To understand the complex system that impacted Bruno's addiction to video games, I am going to apply Bronfenbrenner's ecological model, which is the theoretical framework that examines how various environmental systems can impact individuals and their development. In Bruno's case, this will give me a comprehensive understanding of the contributing factors to his condition. So at the micro system level, I'm going to examine Bruno's immediate environment, including interaction and relationship with his parents, relatives, his caregivers, teachers, peers, in school, and in place of worship. So Bruno comes from a multicultural background. His Muslim immigrant father is a small businessman, strict, religious, but not radicalized yet, high-tempered, rigid, and anti-American. His protective and smothering career-oriented mother is a non-practicing Christian, is a very successful college professor who is constantly focusing on Bruno's academic advancement. Since he was 2 years old, Bruno is constantly playing on some kind of gaming tablet. He's obsessively engaged in digital educational games, books, and piano playing. Now, at this point, Bruno is a happy kid who seems to be a leader type of kid who's very good at soccer and school. And little by little, his father begins to be radicalized and start demanding his family to follow Islam. He's also becoming verbally, emotionally, and occasionally physically abusive to Bruno. On this background, father and mother are constantly arguing and fighting. So moving to the mesosystem level, interactions and connections between Bruno's various microsystems can be examined. Bruno's abusive father and the negative experiences at home starting to affect Bruno's behavior and schoolwork, even more so. So not only fighting between the two of them, but mother and father constantly fighting teachers and principal over problems Bruno would face in school. Furthermore, father has argument with soccer coach over his teaching methods and with Bruno over his playing soccer, of course. Bruno starts developing fear, shame, depression, and self-hate. Moving to the exosystem, Bruno turns to the internet and video games to escape reality at home and at school, but at 11th grade, school suspends Bruno for drawing and searching for guns on the school computer, and for writing that he wants to kill himself. So I just want to give you the background of this time. The time is when in the background is a tragic event of Douglas High School shooting in Parkland, Florida, that brought with it many restrictions, regulations, and policy changes on school around the U.S. So further, I want to talk about it, but before that, father creates a big fight in school because of that suspension that requires his removal under warning, and Bruno to go for forensic and psychological evaluation before being allowed back to school. On top of it, father's business is failing, and mother becomes the only supporter of the family. The games are becoming more violent. The video games that Bruno plays is more violent, and the hours of gaming are becoming longer and longer. Sleeping deprivation, of course, and signs of depression. Addiction and anxiety intensify as well. Finally, at the chronosystem level, there were many events throughout Bruno's life that impacted his condition. He becomes an uncle at the age of 4. His half-sister getting married at age 18, that devastated him. And she's having a baby a year later. So also COVID, the pandemic also hits at that time when Bruno is 12, in a 12th grader, and things got worse for Bruno and all students around the world, as we know, who were forced to study virtually, pushing kids even deeper into the screens. Important to mention that Bruno belongs to Generation Z, those who were born between 1997 and 2012, and whose life is very much online constantly. Against all odds, somehow Bruno manages to finish high school, very poorly though, and is forced to go to college by his mother. Not keeping up with his schoolwork, Bruno would start a semester and drop or withdraw from a course or two. Not giving up on him, his mother turns to counseling center to get help for Bruno. So understanding these influences is crucial in developing effective interventions and support for Bruno, as it allows for a more comprehensive and holistic approach to addressing the issue. And as clinicians and support systems can better understand the context in which the addiction developed and identify the most effective strategies for addressing it. Now, coming from a place of the belief that we are created in the image of God, the Christian counselor would involve a holistic approach to address the emotional, physical, and spiritual aspects of Bruno's addiction. He or she would focus on healing where Bruno can break free from his addiction and find fulfillment and purpose in life. Bruno will be encouraged to lean on his faith as a source of strength and hope, and to explore spiritual practices such as prayers, meditations, faith, and support from the community to provide him with a sense of purpose and belonging. Steps in establishing a safe, trusting, and supportive relationship and non-judgmental space will be taken, where Bruno should feel understood and valued as a person beyond the addiction and its consequences. Utilizing Christian principles of forgiveness, grace, community support, and love, the Christian counselor would also work with Bruno to process his trauma and develop healthy coping mechanism. So the counselor would come from a place of Jesus teaching. Love the Lord, your God, with all your heart and with all your soul, and with all your mind.